As our story begins, Brickroad has received a message from the Orem Consortium, which his cousin was a member of. What's your cousin's name?
What's my cousin's name?
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind,
FantasyNameGenerator.com.
he's dead, so it's never going to come up again.
Well, I'm still going to go to FantasyNameGenerator.com. His name was Bangburn Tallflagon.
Bangburn?
Okay, your cousin Bangburn Tallflagon has come to a nasty end in the woods outside of Stormy Root. The Orm Consortium tells you that he has left you a significant sum of money that you could pick up if you head to Stormy Root yourself. And also that the way he met his end was while working on the lawful business of the Consortium, actually some construction work to improve trade in the area. They were set upon by a group of elves and slaughtered.
Man, who likes an elf? Let's just get that out of there right now.
I know, right? Bunch of hoity-toity freaking jerkbags is what they are.
And they know the group of elves who did it. It was the Sangelians, who maintain a presence in the area. Unlawfully, they add, since they don't actually own the land that they're on.
Seems like somebody used to route these elves.
Sounds like it.
So, you gather up your companions. Your companions introduce themselves, including yourself.
Okay, I'm playing Midge Tallflagon. Midge is a paladin who's taking an oath of vengeance. So, she is not interested in this stipend that's been left for her by her dearly departed cousin. She's going to let her little brother take care of that. She's interested in raining vengeance down on these upstart elves in the area.
I am playing Ganalak Fireaxe, a half-orc warlock. All I care about is money. I will do anything it takes to get as much gold as I can get.
So we know where that inheritance is going, is what you're saying.
Well, we hired the warlock for extra muscle, considering the roads are dangerous with elves these days.
Yeah.
We figured we have an
elves.
orc come along and make scary faces and chase them off.
Yeah. Sounds about right. And I am...
And who is... Okay, go ahead.
I am Harath Tallflagon, a cleric of Morden. I have a massive friggin' hammer that I smash faces with. And these elves sound like they need their faces smashed, so that's where I'm at.
Alright, well, the group of you head out towards Stormy Root, and actually, the closer you get there, the roads get much safer. The Orem Consortium has been doing good work maintaining the trade roads. Merchants seem happy with them. But as you get, let's say about 50 miles out, maybe 25. Yeah, 25 seems good. There's a storm that seems unseasonably bad, with snow and hail going everywhere. So you guys take refuge in a local cave nearby.
Are we about to get werewolves?
And that's where we begin.
Is that what's about to happen? Werewolves?
How would you even tell if it's night?
What time of year is it?
It's early fall. Around harvest season.
So there's a very unseasonable blizzard.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
we should just make sure that everybody in chat knows. McDohl hasn't seen the movie Frozen yet, and he's very sensitive about spoilers.
Brickroad. Bruh.
So don't tell him about the ending. Or, you know,
Or the
those
beginning.
crazy plot twists.
Or the middle. Like, definitely not the middle. Yeah, set to work building a fire and making this cave hospitable until the blizzard passes.
Okay, around the back of the cave, you actually find some firewood stacked aside. It looks like someone's used this cave before for shelter. So
Well,
it's
that's
no
convenient.
trouble at all to make a fire.
Nice. While I'm getting the fire started, I send Ganalak out into the storm to chop more wood to leave a replacement pile with his giant axe.
I grumble a bunch, but I go ahead and go do it.
How much are we paying him?
Well, the inheritance is, and you're the one who knows this, Brick, so feel
Okay.
free to share this information as you will, is 200 gold pieces.
Okay.
Or 300, actually. 300 gold pieces.
Well, if Ganalak's intelligence is low enough, we're just going to promise to pay him and then never actually do it.
No.
Right, because you're a paladin.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. We should pay him.
I feel like I should have asked for alignments when this started.
Lawful good.
Lawful good.
Oh, right, okay. So, Ganalak, you head out into the storm, and it's a mess out there. It's not 5 minutes before your fingers start to grow numb, and you haven't found a single tree yet. In fact, you're not even sure you've gotten that far from the cave at all.
Okay, as soon as I'm out there for about 2 minutes, I'm gonna go back in. Is there a dark corner I can hide in right in the entrance, out of the rain?
I mean, sure, there's a little overhang.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang out for a little while and just wait and watch.
Okay, and you see a blizzard. What's going on inside the cave?
Building a fire, looking for signs of the previous inhabitants of the cave.
Other than the firewood back, you don't really find anything. There's a little circle of stones on the ground that you can use as a fire pit.
Okay.
Beyond that, there's not really much in here at all.
And yeah, break some bread, wait it out.
Yeah.
Okay, and night starts closing in, and you guys get sleepy. The blizzard shows no signs of letting up.
And maybe it'll blow through by morning.
After a while, I'm gonna go fully into the cave and say, "Sorry, I couldn't find anything," and sit down by the fire.
That's alright,
Damn.
Ganalak. You did your best.
Sounds like a hell of a storm out there.
Ganalak, you're like the little brother I never had.
Glare.
Alright, well, who keeps watch?
Horath
I'll take
will.
first watch.
Alright, well, neither of you are safer, so you're gonna need to hash this out amongst yourself.
Well, I said Horath, not I will. So we both volunteered him.
Oh, okay.
Well, I said I'd take first watch.
Yeah, so did I.
And you can take second
Alright,
watch?
well, who's gonna take the other watches, or is it just Horath all night, like no one's gonna get up?
I'll take middle watch.
I'll take third.
Okay.
Alright.
Sister's always been doing this nonsense.
Midge and Ganalak. You're asleep for not very long at all, when suddenly you have a very vivid dream. A slender elf dressed in regal crimson approaches a stone keep in a snow-dusted wood. The lilting sounds of a harp drift ethereally through the trees, and he halts at the base of the keep's tower. You see a girl emerge onto a small balcony on the tower's highest floor. She's human, unlike the elf, black-haired and scarcely old enough to be called a woman. Her breath is tight and fearful, but her gaze is cold and stoic. The man on the ground calls up to her, "Worry not, my beloved. Soon I shall destroy the damned Orums, and nothing shall stand between us. My affection for you grows with each day's passing. Stay safe in your tower. You shall learn to love me soon." He blows a kiss and vanishes into the snowy woods. Alone on the balcony, the girl looks down. The vision is immediately overtaken, with an image of her lying dead and broken on the stones below. From the sky comes whipping winds, howling blizzards, and icy rain. You then see farmlands with dead fields, towns completely covered in white, and people huddled indoors, some shivering, some moving no longer. The image goes back to the girl on the balcony. A bird alights on the balustrade and hops next to her. "Please," she tells the bird, "find someone, anyone who will help me. I will throw myself from this balcony before I love that man." She removes her necklace and locket and holds out her hand. The bird takes the chain and flies away. And you both sleep through until your watch.
In the morning, I will share the bizarre dream with my companions.
I'll look at the when I hear that, I'll be like, strange. That's really strange.
I'll agree. I'll share my my dream. Any details that he might have had.
You two shared the same dream?
So it appears.
That's strange. That's more than strange. That's
Why, Horath? What did you dream about?
what did I dream about, Nodal?
Just normal dreams. You know, war, whoring after the war, drinking after the whoring after the war.
Sounds legit. sounds about right.
The best dreams.
Yeah, I would say so.
Very little gold though. Just the one locket.
Elessar, make me a wisdom check. You notice the cave is really quiet.
So yeah, natural 20, -1 to 19.
You notice the cave is really quiet.
Interesting. And I let my companion know that I noticed it's very quiet in here.
Has the storm
maybe the
subsided
storm
outside?
Maybe the storm's blowing.
And looking outside, you can see indeed the storm has subsided. Although in the skies, it's still really cloudy. Like it looks like it could start up again any moment.
You said we're 25 miles out of stormy route?
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, we should make haste.
Yeah,
Gather everything up.
double time.
Save the booze. The precious, precious booze.
Baboos.
All right, you guys are able to make your way there. It takes a couple of days, but since the storm doesn't start up again that night, there's not really much trouble in making your whole way. The only thing you notice is that, aside from a few small flurries, the storm still looks like it could start at any moment. And also, none of the snow on the sides of the road is melting. It looks like people have been building up drifts to the sides of the road.
So, have we been passing fields?
Yes, you have.
And is it...
Most of the fields, like, they're not completely covered, and the plants aren't dead yet, but they definitely look like they're dying. Like, you see peasants out in the snow. They don't really have the clothing that they need to be out and go as much as they are, but they're taking in as much as they can, like, even though everything's not really grown yet.
I see if
They
I
want to
can
make sure they have something for the winter.
see if I can collect some rumors from some of these peasants as we pass. Find out, because we know that this is an uncharacteristic storm, but kind of get a sense of the people and how they intend to get through the winter.
And how are you asking?
I will ask, find a young man, somebody who is able to do a lot of work in the field, somebody who has like a stake in making sure that his family is fed, and ask if he's ever seen storms this cold and this early in the year before.
All right, make me a investigation charisma check.
The hell kind of paladin has a 14 charisma? That ain't no good. Alright. Nice.
Are you serious? Like, what are you guys rolling? Like,
This die was
where
rolling
did you get
this
these dice from?
Well, we got them from this bag over here labeled all 20s.
That was convenient. Yeah, it just say D20. It just says 20. Weird. Normally it says D20.
D stands for all.
So he wipes his brow and he says, "Well, I suppose I can take a break." What was your question?
I ask if he's ever seen storms this cold and this early in the year.
He says, well, sometimes we've seen storms this cold, but not this early. In fact, we were supposed to start the harvest 2 weeks from now. But we're taking in as much as we can.
Describe the elf with the crimson cloak that I saw in my dream.
Alright. He says, well, I don't really hold any truck with elves. I've heard that there's been some elves over near Stormy Root, like bards and such passing through there. Might be able to ask there.
I then described the girl we saw in the tower.
He says, well, that's terrible. It sounds like there's a tower at the fort in Stormy Root. Maybe she's held there, but I don't think good Lord Garamond would be capturing any girls.
What was the name he said? Garamond?
Lord Paramon.
Paramount.
He's the Lord in Stormy Root.
Okay. Did they start us with any coin on this character sheet? I don't see any, so... Oh yeah, we got 15 gold. Alright.
I have 160 if we ever need lots.
I'm gonna fold 2 pieces of gold in his hand to help him and his family see safely through the winter.
And he stammers and thanks you. He says, thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Have I ever been to Stormy Root before?
I don't know, have you? It's a small trade town. There's not really much to recommend it.
Okay.
Probably not that.
The only thing that's interesting there is that the Orem have moved in recently. You probably received a letter or two from your cousin describing it.
Okay.
It's just a smallish town. Maybe about 3,000 people living there.
Okay. I don't need any more information from him, but I tell him to share the wealth with his neighbors. They're gonna have a difficult winter. Anything that I can do to help.
And he bows to you. He says, "I will, my lady. I will."
And if you don't, my hammer of justice will be upon thee. And then grimace.
And his face pales.
I'll
He says,
roll
well,
my
I wouldn't
eyes.
we wanted that.
I'll roll my eyes. Come on, sister. Really?
So
And he hurries away from the crazy dwarves and their fantastical wealth.
You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to scare him, you know.
yeah.
So you
Which direction are we coming in from? Are we coming in from the west here?
you're coming on the high road here.
Okay. Oh, I thought this was an
It's
ocean.
actually-
I didn't realize this was. So I guess these are like
No,
plains,
those are
This is
those are like
wood.
plainlands.
and these are woodlands. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, continue down the road to.
That's
Stormy
actually
then.
what most of the Orem work in the area. From your cousin. Your cousin was acting as a guard for them, but they're mostly lumberjacking because there's some very high quality woods in the area that are valuable for other uses.
Like Sigil,
Sweet.
person named Mahogany.
Mahogany is the worst wood.
Yeah, it's not that great, you know. It's okay. So you head down into the outskirts of Stormy Root, and you see a lot of completely derelict houses. Like, it looks like these people have packed up and left.
How long ago?
There's maybe within, I don't know, it looks like they weren't painted season at all.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe weren't that well kept before that. This is looking like a poorer district of the town. It's the only thing that's like interesting about the dereliction is that you can't see anyone working on anything anywhere. Like the houses are closed, the lights are out.
Get into the town
Where-
proper
where did
and
our-
find lodging.
Yeah.
All right. Well, following your way down, you notice a lumberjack walking into town with his family next to him. And as you follow him, he heads towards a tavern that you can see. It's the first bright and cheery place you found, with a large sign with 7 snakes on it.
7 snakes?
7 snakes.
Okay.
Out around the tavern, the place seems more lively. There's still snow all over the road, all over the area, but the roads have been swept clean, and it's mostly piled up around the houses.
Okay.
All right. So where do they say for us to meet up with? I guess the coroner, not the coroner, the whoever. Who are we supposed
They
to meet
told
up
you
with?
to wait in Stormy Route. You weren't told anyone in particular to meet with. They said that as long as you were there in a reasonable amount of time, they were also planning on arriving in the area. The message itself, actually, Brick, make me an insight check.
An insight check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't need to roll all those, but we'll just look at the d20. See, that time it wasn't a 20.
That's a 2 with nothing after it, which
Yeah.
is basically a 0.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just said they'll be arriving in the area soon.
All right, then we're
Okay.
gonna go into the 7 Snakes Tavern and get crunk.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It's been a long and weary road.
All right, head into the tavern. There's a number of families there. If it actually looks more crowded than you would usually expect a tavern like this to be, especially considering how hard-working the peasants out in the fields were. The atmosphere seems cheerful but strained. These people are drinking for a reason, and they're determined to do so.
Go up to the bartender. Get 3 flagons of their strongest.
She says, "Are you sure? You're a bit of a little lad there, and our strongest is pretty strong."
Glare at him. Did I stutter?
Oh, all right. 3 of our strongest for the missus. And he goes over and he pulls 3 frothy mugs of ale for you. That'll be 3 silvers.
I only have gold, so give him a gold piece and expect change. I'd tip him, but he gave me a lip.
He more politely says, all right then. And he gives you your change.
Find a place to sit. Give the other 2 flagons to my companions.
Park down.
It's a bit crowded, but after a while, a group of people stand up and Table Tavern, and with soloing, you're able to sit down before anyone else does.
I should hope so. I have a very big hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we both have big hammers.
And have a large axe.
So what is Stormy Root's strongest?
Stormy strongest is a lager. It's you've had stronger.
Okay.
Let me put it that way.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a family
Like
name
this-
like Tall Flagon.
This might be
yeah.
strong to an elf, but not to a dwarf.
Yeah, how long do we have to wait until a meal is served?
Well, as soon as you look around and call over to a waitress,
Okay.
they take your orders. They're only serving 1 meal tonight. It's the mutton.
The mutton.
From the grumbling that you hear around when you order it, it's been the mutton for a while.
Well, I happen to be a fan of mutton, and we just marched halfway through frozen Canada, so
Yeah.
any meat is welcome.
Mutton is glorious.
Could you 3 link me your sheets real quick?
I can't because I have it open on my laptop. But I,
You nightmares.
I took the level 4 Oath of Vengeance Paladin.
Okay. Alright, well. Ganalak. After a while, as you set to with drinking, not quite as quickly as your dwarf companions, but you've had a rough couple of weeks too. A woman comes up to the table and sits down next to you. She says, "New in town."
Indeed.
Yes. I just stare at her.
Says, "I can tell. I've seen you before. What have you been heading in for?"
What race is
Bit
she?
of,
She's human.
bit of family
She's
business.
nearing middle age. Pretty though. She's got long curly hair.
Does this happen often, where random women come up to Ganlak and begin flirting with him?
I have 14
Except for
charisma,
Ganalak.
so maybe.
So do I. Like, we're all handsome.
I think you all have 14 charisma,
That's pretty amazing.
but you two are dwarves.
Yeah.
So she's coming up to Ganalak.
Well, yeah, but Ganlak has tusks. But maybe some women are into that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
not gonna judge.
Don't judge, yeah.
So the secretive type, eh? Well, I
Ye-
can understand that. We all have secrets.
I offer to buy her a drink.
She says, "Oh, I appreciate it," and she calls over. She's also taking the strongest that they have. They don't even hesitate when it comes to serving her, though.
Well, we're
When the
strangers in town.
bartender
That's-
comes over, she says, "Oh, got another one, Eumelia?" and winks at her. And Eumelia chuckles.
I'll look over at the half orc and be like, okay.
Her name was Eumelia.
Yes, Eumelia.
I have her in my notes as Flirty Barfly.
Sounds about
Sounds
right.
about right, yeah.
So, does Ganlak not know what to do with this poor woman?
I mean, I'm a half orc. I've rarely been approached by anybody, let alone a woman.
So, what would Midge have to do to make sure Ganlak gets laid tonight? Midge is going to do whatever she can to grease that wheel.
What are you talking here? Like, are you gonna buy drinks? Are you talking up Ganalak?
Yeah, we'll talk him up. We'll talk about how his strength and courage saw us through on the road. The long road from, where's this go to? Sordaria?
She makes appropriate ooh and ahhing noises. What do you say about how he saw you through? Do you mention that he's a warlock?
I probably don't know what a warlock is, but yeah, I'll mention that he's
Yeah.
an arcane spellcaster.
And she claps her hands together and she goes, "Do tell. I suppose I could see some magic."
Well, his speciality is lighting kobolds on fire. Which is
And she
the best thing
loves
you can do
that.
with kobolds.
She fully supports the lighting of kobolds on fire.
Yep.
And for the rest of the night, she only refers to Ganalak as the champion.
Wow.
I will bang my flagon on the table and call for a demonstration of Ganlak's magic prowess.
Here, here.
Shit, I don't even know what I can do. Well, I can summon my axe, one thing.
Lean back, light a pipe, and watch this. Watch the hilarity.
Alright, so what happens when you summon your axe?
I will just spin my hands around, and then I'll have my axe in it, and I'll swing it at her, and then make it disappear just before it hits her.
And she shrieks as the axe whistles towards her, but when it disappears, she claps her hands together again, and she says, "Wow, that was incredible! You must be so strong."
I shrug and sit down.
Come on, your wingman is talking you up. You gotta show some game. Your wingman is
Alright,
a
so
woman.
how's this night heading, Ganalak? Because, if you're interested, she is too.
Well, I don't have a room yet, but I'll offer to take her to a room that I can rent.
Alright, the rooms are cheap enough to afford.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I'll take her into my room for the night.
How is the room situation going on here? Are you three getting 3 separate rooms? Is there just one room that's about to become incredibly crowded?
I figure I'll get my own room
I
at
think
least.
I think we should get.
Horath and I can share a room.
Yeah, we can share a room.
Alright, and when you two purchase the rooms for yourselves, he goes, "Oh, that's nice. Are you two a couple?"
I'll look at my sister like wide-eyed and say, "Okay, no, we're kin."
Oh, terribly sorry. I just didn't want to, assume that you all looked alike. Oh God, I mean, here, enjoy your room.
Just the keys, thank you.
Does anybody in the tavern, or throughout the evening, try to chat at some people and learn what I can about the Aurum Consortium and their business within the town borders?
Sure, and you actually, the husband of family of woodcutters earlier starts talking to you, and he says, "The Aurum Consortium, good folk. They pay my wages. They've done more for this town than just improving trade. There were some gangs around here that had the whole place living in fear. Well, not 5 minutes after the Aurum Consortium showed up, they had them all tied up and brought out to justice."
Now, was that part of Bangburn's job as one of their guards?
Yeah, he probably was one of the people who rounded those guys up.
Excellent. Then I will be introducing myself as Bangburn's cousin for the rest of my stay here. Then, to see if there's any recognition of the name.
Yeah, the logger actually buys you your next round.
Wonderful. That guy's awesome.
Well, technically you bought that round, but
Umeli is starting to try to drag you upstairs.
I'll
go
with
with her.
Yeah, I'll go.
Alright, well, you guys have a very interesting night. Eumelia is more talented than just about anyone you've ever met. And you have a really good time. Meanwhile, downstairs, the two brother and sister are chatting each other. And a man with a disapproving scowl goes up to you and he goes, "You ought to watch out for your friend there."
cock my head to the side. Why?
That Eumelia, she's a vixen, a trickster. She's had most of the town up there once or twice. I went up with her once myself. I stopped after she took advantage of me.
Advantage how?
If she's had everybody in town, that means she's experienced, and she'll show Ganalak a good time.
I'll chuckle.
Well, as long as that's as far as it goes. But it wasn't 4 minutes until the next morning before she was asking me questions. "Oh, you're so strong, Onodimus. Your lord must really rely on you." And fool me, I talked to her.
So you work for the Lord?
Yes, Onodimus Kaon, I am. He's a older gentleman, much older than Eumelia, but maybe around 50 or 60.
Okay.
He's got a short black beard, which is odd because his hair is graying, and he wears a light yellow robe.
So what is his function as one of the Lord's retainers?
He says he's a clerk. He helps keep track of the finances, stuff like that.
Is there much worry about the storms and the production in the fields outside of town?
He says, yes, it's been a right mess of things, it has. We're starting to lose people. Not much longer, there won't be a town left.
Says, well, then it sounds to me like you need someone like Eudalia to keep everyone's spirits up.
I'll chuckle at that.
He says, that's fine as far as it goes, but I don't think she has town's best interests at hand. With the information she gave me, not much longer, I saw the the Orums suddenly knew an obscure amount of information about the Lord's dealings that they're using to take advantage. You know, the town says they helped clean up the roads, and that's fine as far as it goes. But they're only doing it to benefit themselves, not this town. Most of the money just goes right out and doesn't come back in.
You know what I just realized that you and Eudalia have in common? You both have very loose lips.
And he immediately stops talking.
I'm only teasing. I ask him, I have business with the consortium, my brother and I, while we're in town. And we're also looking for the party that killed Bangbird and Tallflagon. He says, your lord has some friction with the consortium. Is this what I'm hearing?
And he says, well, my lord tried to keep my information to myself now, as you speak. Maybe I've had a few too many. Has had some trouble with them, but they keep to the laws. They work as far as it goes.
So there's no particular reason for my investigation into the murder of my cousin to include your lord. Is that what I'm hearing?
He says, well, there's no secret about that. You said that you work for the Orums. Then it's the elves you want. They're the ones that did it.
I bid for him to have a seat. I tell him, let me buy you a drink, friend, and you can tell me about elves.
And he sits down with you.
I get him like a middling kind of mead. I'm not sure that this man can handle the strongest.
Yeah, and he's just sipping it now. He's not going crazy on it, like, for example, all of your entire party.
But yeah, I described to him the elf I saw in the vision.
And he says, well, he's wearing crimson, you say?
Nod.
That sounds like he was a member of the Sangelians.
Sangelian.
And who are the Sangelians?
He says they're an elf family, live in a keep nearby. They only call the land around their home. They live maybe about 10 miles away. So my lord hasn't had any problem with them. Had pretty cordial relations.
But they're enemies of the consortium.
Says, well, the consortium, not much far back, started building and logging around I'm sorry, 1 second here. The Sangelians' land. 1 or 2 trees was fine enough, and it may upset the Sangelians, but they didn't do anything about it. But they started to build a bridge right through the middle of a river on their land. And when that happened, the Sangelians attacked them.
Well, these elves sound like they are murderers and enemies of progress.
Marauders.
And he says, well, I don't know anything about that. It seems to me that anyone will protect their land as far as they can. Surely you don't think my lord should protect his land.
What would this... Well, I mean, I point out that this bridge they were building and the logging that we're doing was bringing wealth and productivity to Stormy Root. Now, whether this clerk believes it or not, his lord and this fort have a stake in what these elves are doing on their borders.
And he holds his hands out and, like, turns around. He says, do you see wealth and productivity in this town? All I know is that the Sangelians have been here for generations. And not much longer after these Orums moved in, maybe a year or two, the weather started to turn, as you can see here.
Do the elves have any presence inside of the town?
He says, no, there's nobody really like living here. There's a few elves and such, but any member of the actual Sangillian family lives out in their keep.
Okay.
Every so often they get some like bards and such in from the Sangillian family, people who want to try out with a new audience. But
then I guess
not really a whole purpose.
The plan for tomorrow then is to see if I can make contact with the consortium and see if I can shake down one of these Sangillian bards that's been hanging around.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. And is that going to be anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to do tonight? It's starting to get kind of late.
No, I think we're done with this guy. We'll
No, I
turn
think
him
we
loose.
retire.
We'll stop twisting this guy in the wind.
All right. He takes that pretty gently enough, and he starts to head out. But before he leaves, he says, "Just if that Eumelia tries anything, you remember what I told you.
All right.
And if you need to, talk to me tomorrow."
I nod,
And he
thank him
heads
for
out.
his time. And then if Eumelia tries anything, we're just going to mock Ganalak about it from now until the end of time. The idea of this little scrawny human cougar getting one over on our half-orc warlock is endlessly amusing to me.
Amen.
Yeah, turn in for the night, sleep it off.
All right. You wake up in the morning. Ganalak,
Yes, sir.
Eumelia's there when you wake, and she has her armor on you. She says, "Oh, you're awake. Good morning, lover."
Morning. I
Well,
get
I
up and
didn't-
get dressed.
And she says, "So last night was magical. You know, someone as strong as you ought to stay in the town. You can have a big influence around here."
Sure, I could have a job.
She looks a little bit out. She says, "Oh, come now."
I keep getting dressed, get all my stuff together, and start heading to the door.
She doesn't stop you. She just looks after you.
Okay, I go downstairs and order breakfast.
We're probably already down there, and when I see him come downstairs, I just grin a little.
I smile.
Hey, you guys actually have a visitor over breakfast.
Oh,
A servant comes by from Lord Paramon, and he requests your presence over lunch today.
the Lord, eh?
Well,
Paramon, you said?
I've never known Horath to turn down a free lunch.
Shrug and
Who's this messenger? Is
Chuckle.
this somebody from, like, the Lord's court?
Yes, it is. It's a small child, actually, a boy,
Okay.
probably a page.
Well, Horath's a cleric, so we're going to stay between him and the small boy.
yeah,
We don't want to give in to temptation there. No, we'll tell him
yeah.
He may inform the Lord that we would be more than happy to join him for lunch.
He bows and says, "Lunch is served at the 12th bell."
We'll be there.
I'm not tipping him. He can just leave.
I'll slip him the
Dad.
silver.
And he grins at you when you do so. He goes, I forget, Herath, are you a boy or a girl? You're a
I'm a
sister,
guy.
right?
I'm
Oh,
a
you're the
boy.
brother.
Yeah,
You're the
I'm
little brother.
I'm the little brother.
And he says, "Thanks, sir. Thank you kindly." And he heads out. Eumelia heads downstairs. And she gives Ganalak a dirty look as she sits down and starts having breakfast.
What kind of dirty look? Like a I believe that you just
She looks
hit it and
scorned.
quit it. Okay, so she's looking at him like he hit it and quit it. Okay.
Yes.
I keep eating.
I steer the conversation towards today's business. The kind of thing that we're not making any secret of. That way, if the town crotch here overhears anything, she's not going to get anything super useful.
Alright, and nobody seems all that interested. They all know who you are and why you're in here. You were making no secret of that last night.
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying, she could have slept with anybody and she picked the half-orc. That's weird.
She just has a thing for big guys.
I'm going to spend the morning trying to identify one of these Sangelian bards. I don't want to make contact. I would just want to I want to be able to make contact
Feel 'em
after
out.
lunch, after we learn more from Paramon. But knowing that these elves have some kind of peripheral presence in town, that's where we're going to start when we start shaking things down later tonight.
Alright, and there's actually no bards in town at the moment. But, one sec here. It looks like there's one expected to come in tomorrow.
Okay.
Convenient enough.
Are we able to get their name?
Is there anything else you guys want to do before break? No, it could be any one of a number of them.
Okay. No, getting that information is all we need to do this morning.
Alright, then you guys pack up, and I'm assuming you head there on time.
Oh, yes.
Mhm. We will be punctual.
That would only be respectful.
Then you show up, and there's a fort near town. Any townsperson can guide you to it.
Okay.
And looking at it, it looks like the keep that you remember from your dream.
What is it?
Make somebody, whichever one of you wants, can make me an investigation check, intelligence.
My investigation's only +1. How's yours?
My investigation's probably butt and a butt sandwich.
Butt sandwich? That doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I have a penalty to investigation.
I have +1. I have proficiency, but my intelligence is only 9.
Alright, do we both get to roll it or just one of us?
One of you, basically, there's something that seems a little off about keep to you.
Okay.
And I unless you can tell me some way, like some specific thing that you're looking at, I'll give you either advantage or disadvantage if it turns out that you're right or wrong. Otherwise, you could just roll it normally.
I'm going to pay closer attention to the population as we get into the keep. Specifically, because it looks like Stormy Root and the surrounding lands are falling on hard times. I'm trying to get a sense of how Paramon and his family and his retainers, how they're faring through the winter.
Alright, go ahead, roll it with advantage.
You chose wisely. 3 dice.
17.
Alright. So, they all seem like they're mostly faring okay. Certainly not as poorly as they would if the Lord was, say, greedy and keeping it all for himself. The guards seem happy enough, and the peasantry seem, like, hard-worked. Like, they all seem exhausted, but they seem well-fed enough. One thing you notice while looking at the guardsmen, and you also notice it too when you look at the castle, is that the castle in your dreams and the elf in your dreams were both wearing a red tabard, whereas all of the banners on the keep and the tabards of the soldiers are orange and green.
Okay.
Also, looking at the keep itself, once you notice these changes, you notice it has less moss on it than the keep in your dream, and fewer vines growing on the stones.
Very good.
So once you're ushered in, you're brought to a dining room where the Lord is already waiting for you. He says, sit, sit. It's not so often that the Stormy Room gets such illustrious visitors, or so well-armed ones.
I'll chuckle a little bit at that.
Well, if we're anything, we're illustrious.
What brings you to my town? You wouldn't be planning on causing any trouble, would you? And he'll chuckle.
And very seriously, I'll respond. That all depends. My cousin was murdered here.
Our cousin was murdered here.
And he looks back at you, he says, that's a serious charge. Who is your cousin?
Bangburn, Tallflagon. One of the soldiers of the armed consortium.
And he relaxes when you tell him that. He says, oh, you're speaking about the battle outside of town.
A battle?
Well, that wasn't in my lands.
Nonetheless, I'll produce the
Because-
letter that I got so you can look it over and see that we're on the up and up.
And he looks it over. And he says, so you have trouble with those Sangelians.
That seems to be the case.
Well, and he says, well, they've been pleasant enough neighbors when others have been moving in on their territory. I can't speak to the lawfulness of or unlawfulness of their attack, given that it didn't take my lands. But I can see that you have a vested interest in it.
We do.
What do you want to know?
Did this battle take place before this unseasonable winter set in?
He says, let me think. As far as I can remember, it was before, or it may have been just after. I can't really remember. It was close to that time, I'm sure.
And where did it take place?
And he, as I took place a bit out of town. If you'll just give me one moment, I can bring out a map and show you.
Wonderful.
And weirdly, him bringing out a map and showing you takes just as much time as it takes me to
Load it up.
bring up the old version of the map. And he says it took place just here, where the river is meeting the road here, the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And he repeats to you the story that you heard before, that they were building a bridge over a place that the Sangalians called their own land, and fearing that the lumberjacks were going to start encroaching on their own trees, the Sangalians attacked. Their keep, by the way, is located right here. I wish I could just use fonts.
No, that's a good job. I mean, looks like
Yeah.
a 4-year-old did it, but that's fine. Like, from this angle, that doesn't even look like an X. Looks like the Blair Witch symbol.
And this was the battle.
So I ask, to his knowledge, whether these Sangalian elves, whether they made any attempt at a peaceable solution before just setting in with arms.
And he tells you that he's not sure. He doesn't. He's certainly had peaceful relations with them in the past. They've traded favors, so he doesn't imagine that they wouldn't have made some kind of overture.
And in the...
But he's not positive.
Okay. In the context of relations he's had with Sangalians in the past, would he be able to set up a meeting between me and my companions and them?
He says, well, you know how elves are. I could try, but there'd be no telling whether or not they would accept it, or how soon it could be. It could be within a month, a year. Could be never. He says your best bet, you want to talk to a member of the family, is to wait in town until one of the bards comes through.
And there should be one coming tomorrow morning, yes?
And he says if that's what you heard.
That's the rumor on the street. Describe to him the girl from the vision. As we're eating.
Says, and he says she was this. I don't recognize the girl, but you say she was in a keep similar to this one?
Nod. Different coloration. Less foliage hanging on the walls.
What was the coloration?
Crimson red.
And he frowns. He says, well, those are the Sangelian colors, so you're probably talking about the keep then. You know, this keep, when my ancestors moved, was already here. It's possible that they were built by the same people. They are awfully similar.
I don't suppose these elves would take very kindly to the three of us marching through their territory, bearing arms.
I don't suppose they would.
So I give him fair warning. It's not our intention to bring trouble to his town, but trouble may follow us nonetheless.
He frowns. He says, sure, of course it will. Why would anything else happen? First these Orums, and now you. And the lunch ends remarkably quickly after that. He goes, well, do your best to keep the trouble to yourself, and I'll do my best to keep the law to myself.
As you
And
wish.
he
That sounds fair enough.
he bids you farewell.
I've had better lunch anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was good compared to what you had in the inn, but it's clearly hard times here.
It wasn't the mutton again.
It was not the month, no.
Good.
So I don't have anything else to take care of today. I guess I will spend the rest of the day trying to make contact with the Orums in town.
Okay, and you don't really have too much success getting in contact with them.
Okay.
Like I said, there's no families nearby. There are some elves that you could talk to if you wanted to, although it's made clear to you that they're not members of the Sangeli. Oh, you're trying to make contact with the Orums.
Orums,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, mostly just lumberjacks in town. Any of them could tell you some information. The ones that have been here for longer could tell you the most.
Okay. Try to find somebody who knew Bangburn.
Okay, is that what the rest of you are doing too, or are you doing something separate?
No, I'd be with her and looking for and yeah, following that up.
Yeah, I'll tag along.
Okay, then the three of you find let's say a couple. Let me go to fantasynamegenerator.com to get the name of this lumberjack.
Best website. We need to get an official Fantasy Name Generator sponsorship. That's what needs to happen next.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I went to fantasynamegenerator.com and I can't find it. Oh, it's fantasy.namegeneratorfun.com.
What?
Is this it?
It's fantasynamegenerators.com. It's
Oh, generators.
yeah, with
Yeah.
an S.
Oh, okay. I've never actually been to the site.
There are Snowland names in here.
Okay, yeah. We'll go to Snowland names. And the Snowland name generator I've got, no, these are actual lands with
Yes.
snow in them.
Right.
This is not doing me any good.
Well, first you
Okay,
have to
let's
decide,
go
like,
here with
what kind of elf do you need? Because they've got Tolkien elf names and Forgotten Realm elf names and Warcraft elf names, and you got to be very particular.
Well, you're not finding any elves. You wanted to talk to orcs.
Yes, orcs.
So you're getting lumberjacks.
Lumberjack. Is there there's probably a lumberjack name generator.
So you find a man named Boyan.
Oyen.
Boyden?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he says that he knew your cousin Bangburn, not too well because Bangburn was a guard, but he saw him in the distance and shared a couple meals with him.
And what does he know about elves?
He spits on the ground and he said, them elves have been nothing but trouble for us. We come around here bringing progress and trade, and they have nothing but to complain about their fancy trees.
Well, Paramount is of the opinion that they're simply attempting to protect their lands.
And he says, well, I wouldn't know anything about that. All I know is that we haven't been doing any damage to those lands. We don't clear every single tree in the forest. But what is one or two in these elves have nothing but complaints. And then when we go trying to build a trade road that surely would benefit them as much as us, they come attacking out of the woods, one behind every tree.
Was he there for the attack?
He says no, and that's why he's still alive. He had a brother, though, who was working in the area.
I offer
And
my
he's
condolences.
Yep.
And he says, you look like the hardy sort. Are you here to take care of those elves for us?
So we are here to mete out justice when and if it is appropriate.
Surely those elves have earned a little justice.
So suffice it to say, he's very angry.
He's upset. He's a little. He's not happy.
He's
no,
perturbed.
perturbed. I think
Miffed?
would be the correct term for it. No, not. He's a little beyond miffed.
Are his jimmies rustled?
Maybe a little bit. So, is there anything in particular you want to ask him about either your cousin or the Orms?
Yeah, ask who, if there are any Orms in charge to speak to in town, if he would be able to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
The sooner we take care of our
He's-
financial business in town, the sooner we can march off with our hammers into the woods.
He says to you that no, there's no Orm leaders in town, but, and he kneels down next to you and whispers. He goes, I heard we're bringing together an army to drive out those elves. That's what you're here for, isn't it?
That sounds good to me. Does that sound good to you guys?
I'll shake my head a little bit. And we're just here to get justice for our brother, our cousin rather.
I just
Says, well, then you're gonna want to wait till tomorrow afternoon. Then there'll be some justice coming through these parts. Keep it
I'll
between
frown a
us,
little bit.
though.
So he's not willing to go into particulars about where this army is marshaling?
He just says that they're coming in tonight, and after, if you like, the more that you guys question him about it, the clammed up he gets.
All right.
He thinks he maybe spoke a little too fast. If you guys didn't already know this,
Fair enough.
Thank him for his time.
he goes, you could thank me tomorrow night.
So, all right. So we'll walk away, and then once he's out of earshot, and we kind of converse a little bit more privately, I'll glance at my sister and say, "Hey, that sounded to you like a lynch mob was about to happen?
Like a what was about to happen?
A lynch mob?
Well, it would take more than a lynch mob to wage war on these elves on their own territory.